What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith. And I got a special guest with me. If you're not familiar with the channel, we host one of the best NFL draft series on the internet. This guy has an electric tape. Man, this dude, he has came up from Ivy League school, Cornell, did his thing over there, and then finished off his college football career for the Akron Zips, playing in the MAC conference, not only traveling up the draft boards. He has a great tape. He's an awesome human being. And today we're going to get to know the man beneath the helmet, Paul Lewis III. Paul, how are you today, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Man, doing well, man. Congratulations on getting selected for the Trillion Tropical Bowl, man. Very exciting.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So today, man, we're gonna get into your story a little bit. Man, take us from the beginning. When did you first fall in love with the game of football?
I would have to say probably around like 8, 9. I remember when I was younger, my dad was like, hey, I think it's time for you to play tackle football. First year, I played, wasn't really feeling it too much. And then I told my mom, hey, mom, I think I don't know if I want to play. And she's like, hey, you got to tell your dad. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to play another year. So played another year. And then I think that year, I really fell in love with it that year. I really got down to the game, started scoring some touchdowns, making some plays. And at that moment, I realized, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And, just pursued it from everything from there.
Love it. Did you always play DB or?
Yeah, actually, I played DB, but I was mainly receiver at first.
Ooh. Okay, gotcha. Very nice. And then in high school, did you play that as well too? Or?
Yes, the same thing happened. I played receiver on JV and cornerback actually, and then my last 2 years I strictly played DB.
Love it, man. That's pretty awesome. And then Cornell, man, you were at an Ivy League school, man. Why Cornell? Because usually most people don't think, if I want to go to NFL, not necessarily Ivy League schools where you go to, man, but you made the most of that opportunity. So why Cornell? What led you there?
I think the main reason for me coming out of high school, my dad and my whole family, we were mostly education focused. He said, I want you to be an athlete, but also want you to get your education first. And coming out of high school, I was kind of a late bloomer, was what they say. So I didn't have a lot of offers, but I started getting some interest, but Cornell always kind of stuck with me. I didn't actually like the school at first. I wasn't really that big on there. And then I went on a visit and, I just fell in love with the school, the people, and, the atmosphere. And then also, my parents, they immediately, like 2 seconds there, like, oh, yeah, we're going here, Paul. And I'm like, yeah, I think so, too. And, I think it was a great decision in my life. I got my degree, and it also, propelled me, put me on a platform to play football at the next level, too.
Love it, man. And then, obviously, you finish up it was 3 years or 4 years there?
4.
Okay, and then you end up going over to play for the Akron Zips, big program, FBS, playing in the MAC conference. There's some great competition there as well, too. Did you find a little bit of a learning curve when you went from Ivy League to a MAC school?
I definitely had to learn a little bit different. I actually switched from corner to safety when I went to Akron. So just learning, different position, the different techniques, standing my back pedal longer. That was definitely a learning curve. But after, the first couple weeks of, PLPs and spring ball, I kind of clicked for me. The whole defense kind of came into view. I'm always good, at learning defenses, different coverages. And our defenses were kind of similar, so it wasn't too difficult to learn. So the learning curve wasn't too much, but I definitely picked up on it fast.
Love it, man. And, man, you've had some pretty good games while playing for Akron, man. Was there a favorite moment while being there?
I have to say our last game when we beat Toledo, that was really probably one of my favorite games. Awesome. They were slated to beat us. They came in, one of the better teams, and I think our team kind of rallied around us and showed our true dominance we should have had the whole season, and we displayed it that last game, and just winning that last game, finishing my college career, at home field. I think I couldn't ask for anything better than that.
You've had an amazing football story, amazing football journey. Was there like an aha moment, like a moment where you realized, like, man, I am not your average football player. I'm a lockdown corner. I could lock it down as far as being a safety. Overall, I'm just a great DB. Was there a aha moment where in your head where you realized, like, man, I'm different?
2 games. I think the first time might have to be in Lehigh. I think those were one of my best games.
Yeah.
there. I had I think 3-4 pass breakups that game and like 6 tackles. And in that game I thought like, yeah, this is, yeah, like basically I'm him. This is what we gotta keep going up from here. The second time we actually played Brown my senior year, my last year at Cornell, and I caught a pick six, and I had a great game, had a couple more pass breakups too, and then that game was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do, and then that propelled me to be at Akron, and then I just showed what I can do from there at the next level.
Man, love it, love it. Are there any players that you model your game after?
Growing up, especially playing corner, being a taller guy, I love Jalen Ramsey. I was always like a physical guy. Like I love tackling. I love playing press man. And just that attitude. I always thought, like my dad always told me, like as being a corner, you gotta have the utmost confidence in yourself. And just looking at him, like that was just the most, like I never seen him down himself. Like he gets beat one play, he's still talking trash. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna get the next play, and he makes the play. And I kind of like just lived my life like that, and just modeled my game after that. Try to always have the utmost confidence in myself every play, no matter what happens, and being physical and aggressive, and I always got to tackle. That was my thing.
I love it, man. Jalen Ramsey, I could definitely see that, man. And you got a buttload of solo tackles too. You see it with DBs, like okay, they'll get like 18 or 21. But man, last year you had 42 solo. That's really, really, really good, man. I don't know what your 40 time is, man, but you play very, very fast to the ball. But what would you guess probably your 40 time is?
Sub 4.5. I think I'm in that 4.4 range for sure.
Okay, nice. Well, again, as I mentioned beginning of the episode, congrats on getting selected to the Tropical Bowl. There's gonna be loads of NFL scouts there. We even had Levi Drake Rodriguez, friend of the show. He got drafted directly based off of what he put out on tape there, man. So, absolute dogs will be there for sure. How is your training going so far, man? And where are you currently training at?
So far, at the school, so far ended. Right now, I going to be training in Florida for like pro day and everything.
Yeah.
With Harper Performance Training. I'm also been training with my trainer here in Maryland. He's been training out in Bel Air. His name's Nick Farmer. Just been training with DB stuff. Get my speed right, and just keep my body right until for these showcases, and then right after that, I'm gonna finish training. When I go to Florida. So it's been going good so far.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Nick Farmer, very familiar with that name. As far as people who work with him, I've heard good things, man. So you're in really great hands with him for sure. Now, when you're out there in the Tropical Bowl, man, what are some parts of your game? Limited amount of practices. Hopefully, you get enough reps and stuff. And there's some other really good DBs too. Like it's like somebody from the DB positions, he's getting drafted or getting an NFL contract, one or the other, man. But man, what would you say that's something you're trying to show in your game come that day?
My range. A lot of times, people always question my speed, but if you watch the game film, especially this year at safety, while I'm back in the post, my range is I go from sideline to sideline, pretty fast, and then also like my versatility. I've told you I played corner my whole life, and then like this last year I played safety, so just showing, be able to like plug and play me anywhere on the defense back end, and just showing that I have like the brains and also like the physicality and smartness to be able to do that. Then also just my overall like intelligence and knowledge of the game, just being able to be sticky on a guy, not let the ball get open, and just make some plays.
Love it, man. Next question that I take and I have, man, what are something that you want NFL teams to know about you that perhaps they may not know already about you?
First thing, I'm a man of God. Faith is, my biggest thing in my life. That's guided me most of, my decisions, and also like, the way who I am, and giving back to others. I'm very, compassionate and everything. And also, that also pushes me to, I do this mostly for my family. They provided a lot for me. So me playing this game, gives me an opportunity, give back to like most of my family that's taken care of me most of my life. And, also I'm a student of the game, at Cornell, being being in education was really big. So that, that forced me to, think outside and create ways of, time management, and being able to, okay, I got practice this time. okay, I can study this time, just working on learning new things and also balancing, a life of football and education, then also, a social life. So those are like the biggest things.
Love that, man. Thank you for sharing that about your faith too, man. It's very cool. I'm a follower of Christ myself, man. So very, very cool. Let me ask you, man, in this journey that you've had, man, what are some things that keep you hungry and keep you motivated, man? Oftentimes you see football players burn out. They really play the
Mm,
game just because, hey, they come from a Southern family and
yeah.
they love football a lot, right? But then you see people burn out. They don't really love the game. You love the game. I could see it, man. You have like a childlike love for the game.
Mm,
But what keeps you hungry and what keeps you motivated? I know you kind of mentioned a little bit in that last question. Just
yeah.
dive a little deeper.
Yeah, a little bit of the last question, mostly my family, supporting them. Another thing is, my little brother, he plays football too at Cornell, and he looks up to me, and then everything like I do, is a reflection, of him. So um, I just keep going, for him, and also like it's for myself. It's and like you said, like the love of the game. Like I never lost that. Like it's all like at the end of the day, it is football. You got to have a love for a game if you want to keep going. And I think like over these past years, I started to fall in love with it all over again. The more aspect I can take it even more seriously, and especially these past 2 years, playing on a bigger stage, it also just showed me that it is a possibility. And growing up, my dad always taught me that if you start something, you got to finish it. So and to me, like I'm not finished with anything yet, so I don't think there's any stopping for me anytime soon.
Love it, man. You played at Cornell, you played for Akron, so you've had several coaches, several different defensive philosophies, and as you know, man, defense or offense, whatever side of the ball somebody plays, it's like learning a new language. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like, hey, all right, man, you're gonna live in Estonia, you gotta learn the language there.
Hmm.
You're gonna take and move to Tanzania, learn the language there. You're gonna move to France, learn the language there, right?
Exactly.
Um, I gotta ask you, man, do you have a favorite scheme? And then also what's a scheme that you feel that makes your skills pop out the most?
At Cornell, I was a man guy. I just love playing man. Like I love like getting my hands on receivers, locking them up. So I had to say like when I was at Cornell, my favorite scheme was when, obviously we were in a 4-2-5. So just love playing like that man like press. Um, and then when I got to Akron, like switched to safety. I love the um, when we started playing quarters and I was playing the free safety. So at first I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I was like, if my man goes away, I'm just a free player. And I'm just like, what? First, I didn't understand that at first. But then, as I gradually got it, I'm like, oh, I can help out, wherever I am, watch the QB's eyes and, be rangy, show my range, be around the field, like go to the post, read posts, or help out the players. And
Yeah.
that shows a lot by film this past year of me just like finding the ball, being wherever and coming downhill or trying to make a play on the ball. And I think that was my favorite scheme this past year, like quarters coverage. Yeah.
Man, love it, man. And that being said, man, once your name is called, whether it be on draft day, UDFA contract, come in as a camp tryout, and then work your way wherever you may land. Come this April, man, it's going to be a big moment for you. NFL teams, man, that there is a lot that goes into it. They look at the stats, they look at the person, the human being,
Hmm.
and then of course they look at the tape. And to me, somebody who's done over 100 pre-draft interviews, man, you got it, man. You got the it factor. I mean, to hype you up, there ain't no hype in what you do, man. You're a beast, man.
Thank you.
Man, what would be some of your goals once you get into that NFL locker room, man? What are some of your goals to take and establish yourself first year in the NFL?
Definitely want to make that active roster. That was always the biggest goal. Like once I started learning the ins and outs of the football business, making that active roster, and just making my presence known on the field. Like I'm trying not to, just coast by. I know some people say just getting an NFL would be great. But always just the person who I am. I just always like if I'm on a team, I want to make an impact. So whether that's either on special teams, make an impact there, make some plays, or if that is like take on a more like active role on the defense, try to work my way up to getting some plays on the field as a starter, or as a backup or work my way up. Like I just always like just want to contribute any way possible. I just don't want to coast by. I want to like actually make an impact. I don't have any goals per se, like number of interceptions or tackles or anything like that. Just want to make an impact to the point of where people is like Paul Lewis III. Oh, I like that guy. He plays for this team. Like he's known. That's my main goal.
Man, I love it. Love it, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is a 2025 NFL draft prospect. Played cornerback and safety. We call him a DB. He is a lockdown DB, and he does it dang well. Paul Lewis, University of Akron. Comment below. Let us know how this interview made you feel. If you want to get in touch with him or even check us highlights, or even just want to get motivated and take and follow his story, I'll have all social media stuff down below in the description of this video. If you want to get in touch with this agency, I'll have that as well in there too. Man, Paul, thank you so much for joining us today, man. I appreciate you, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for watching another episode of The Touchdown with Doug Smith, where we have exclusive NFL content and exclusive NFL interviews. Be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. See you on the next one.